Hi everyone, welcome back to Generation Z. Today with us, of course, me, Yaroslava Polinsky.
Diana Kravets.
Karina, just Karina.
Yeah, so today we want to talk with you about climate change and, of course, Paris Agreement because I think right now everyone is talking about climate change and Paris Agreement is actually the most famous agreement which concludes all the rules and all advantages of of solving this huge problem. So of course you heard that USA left this agreement, so we want to discuss this and we want to just talk about the reasons and consequences of that. So Diane, what do you think about it?
Okay, so first of all, the general information. On the 24th of October, Trump confirmed that the US will surely leave Paris Agreement. He described the accord as a bad deal, and his pro-fossil fuel policies had made the US an energy superpower. How much true of it is, I have no idea. Maybe US is now the energy superpower, but when it was not, right? And also, I want to tell you the general information about the Paris Agreement so you're able to participate in the discussion and the questions I'm going to ask you a few moments later. So the Paris Agreement brought together 882 nations to combat climate change. It was agreed in 2015 and it committed the countries to keeping rising global temperature below 2 degrees, only 2 degrees above rising industrial levels and attempting to limit them even more to 1.5 rise. So my first question to you is, do you even believe in these climate saving changes, in these climate saving agreements big countries try to sign? Corinne.
Do I believe in climate change or do I believe in...
Do you believe it is possible for big countries like France and Germany and the US and Russia to reduce fossil emissions? And do you believe in these kind of agreements?
I don't believe in this kind of agreements because, first of all, they are not binding. They were not ever binding legally. And I don't really believe that everybody is willing to participate, so we won't get any results. So it's kind of delusional in my point.
But almost 200 countries signed the paper, so they admitted that they will reduce the emission to 2 degrees above zero.
However, USA left, so...
Yeah, but I'm just asking you generally, do you believe that when countries sign these kind of agreements, they actually do something?
I believe in that. I think it's good that at least somehow countries try to participate in climate change, problem. And I think that, of course, I was reading about Paris Agreement, and of course I support it for 100%. But when you're talking about countries that signed this paper, I just want to say that I was reading a really interesting article that was saying that actually every country can sign this Paris Agreement, but in this agreement there is absolutely no consequences and not any sanctions if you are not doing right things that are said in this agreement. So actually Russia, US or France, they can sign this paper, right? And it is said that of course we have to somehow stop such big CO2 emissions, right, and all that stuff. But if we're not going to do that, actually there are absolutely no sanctions. So that just sometimes it doesn't really make sense, and I think it really depends on country and on willingness of the country to do something. If country really wants to do they really want somehow to stop this climate change, of course they will try to do everything to stop that. But if they don't want to do that, they can sign this paper but actually continue doing all that bad things with our environment.
And also, do you think, because actually Trump did it to do something and to win in the 2020 elections, because apparently people who are going to vote for him somehow have to support his decision to leave the Paris Agreement and to get out of the climate change things that people are not talking about. And Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats, in Democrats in general, they condemned the move. And Nancy Pelosi said that this is a devastating move and it casts out our children's future. So why do you think, if it is so important, if almost all the world leaders said that this move is bad, this move will have a bad influence on the whole world because the US has, well, let's say a lot of gas emissions now because it is a gigantic superpower. So why do you think Trump is so eager to leave the Paris Agreement? Is it so bad or why?
I think first of all because he really doesn't believe in climate change. He said that it's a hoax, and like for me it's so ridiculous because even right now we see so many results of that climate change. We see so many bad things that are happening with our environment, and first of all with the global temperature of the world even right now in 2019. And let's imagine what is going to happen in 2029, sorry, 10 years in the future, right? It's hard to imagine because I feel it will be just huge disaster. And seriously, I agree with that congresswoman because actually Trump, why I'm so angry about Trump, because I feel like USA is one of the biggest like and most powerful countries in the world, and they have so many factories and so many things that are destroying our environment only in their country. So that's why it's so important for them to do something about that, you know. And when they're not doing when they're doing anything, I feel like they seriously leave all of that things to us. But I think it's really important to remember that someday it will be too late to doing something, you know, because even right now we see that like it's really hard because like Greta Thunberg, right? She's always saying that we have to stop CO2 emissions, we have to read and try to realize everything that's said in Paris Climate Agreement, right? But even right now, it's so hard for most of the factories and for most of the countries, especially those one who don't have like really big budget, you know, to try to do that. So I think like in 10 years, we'll have so many problems that sometimes it will be just not possible to deal with that at all. So I think that like Trump, I feel like he's really stupid in a lot of things. I seriously can say that because I also was watching documentary with him, and like his ex. How to say that, like the man who was supporting him and the man who was like supporting him, yeah, it sounds really weird, but not like the man who was like helping him with solving all of that, you know, political issues and all that stuff. He said that Trump actually in most of the topics he doesn't have his own opinion, he just listens to other people and say that. So like for example, question about immigration to US and about like that Mexican problem, right? When so many Mexican refugees trying to go to USA. In some interviews he says that, oh my god, it's so bad, like Mexicans are not allowed to illegally come to USA even with children, we have to stop that. In another interview he says that I love children so much, I think that parents with children, even if they're doing that in a legal way, have to have a right to, you know, come to US, like doesn't matter which way. So I think like he doesn't have his own opinion about climate change. I think he just listened to his Republican Party like helpers, or how to say that, and just say whatever they want him to say. So
I personally don't think that he's so dumb, especially in climate change, because climate change is now the main topic of news every single day. And I think that he apparently read or heard that even Barack Obama said that the US is, it is the quote, it's contributed far more than any other nation to the greenhouse gases already in atmosphere. So I don't think that he doesn't know these facts. I don't think.
I know, but
he
like
just doesn't know how to profit from this yet. Maybe
Profit from what?
profit from climate change hype, profit from eco-friendly stuff, and etc. He's just pure capitalist. Yes, he's a businessman. He's not a politician. He just doesn't know how to really just make money out of it.
But even if he's a businessman, because I really don't understand this move, because right now this is hype. You can do anything with climate in a good way and have a good reputation. But at the same time, when you say something against climate change, like
I
for
think he
example,
doesn't care about reputation at all.
but okay, but he's a businessman, you said,
Mhm.
and right now, all the brands, everything is going into eco style.
You know, I
In
think
Europe,
like
though.
in Europe,
Yeah.
yeah, and even in the USA, North America. But I want to say that, like, you know, all of that small brands, like small brands, I'm talking about huge, like, you know, shopping centers, huge clothing brands, and all that stuff. I think, like, for USA as a whole country, it's small brands and small businesses. I think it won't give him as much money as, for example, stopping supporting all of that organizations, because I was reading that like USA gave to a Paris climate agreement more than like $1 billion or something like that, and he counted, like Trump, as he said, that in 2029 US will lose like more than $20 billion on this climate agreement, you know? So I think that stopping supporting all of that organizations, all of that movements will give him more money than, like, you know, all of that organizations that support.
But
This
the
one.
irony is that the final pullout will take place on the day right after the presidential elections 2020. So it means that if Trump wins, the US will absolutely 100% leave the Paris Agreement. However, if he doesn't win, if Trump doesn't win and doesn't become the US president in 2020, the US perhaps will still remain in the Paris Agreement. So do you think that this decision to leave the Paris Agreement and to somehow get out of this pro-eco, pro-friendly nature style of governing the country, do you think it will influence the results of 2020 elections? Because apparently Democrats are already against Trump. Would you say that the Republicans, the voters who vote for the Republicans, they will change their mind somehow because of this?
To me, it looks like experimental marketing model. To me, it's like it's more in the plus for Trump's persona. I don't know. It has like we are now talking about it. It's like it's hyped. It's popular. It's popular topic to talk about. And
But
I
it's
don't
in a
think,
bad light. Bad. It's
but
bad
still
topic, yeah.
like bad commercial is still a commercial. You know, it still gives him power to talk, and I don't think it will change like any minds like in depth. I don't think people there will like understand what's going on really. Like they won't hear Greta or like that girl's name, right?
Yeah.
They won't support it like at that level. They're miseducated. I feel like just
Yeah, I feel like supporters of Trump seriously are not educated people.
But do you think, by the way, that he will win or not?
I think
hope
yes. I think yes. I don't support Trump at all. I love Democratic Party and I love Hillary Clinton. I'm really sad that she is not willing to participate in elections.
But
because
Biden will from the Democrats, right?
yeah, Biden. But at least I heard that still there is not like known who will participate because they didn't have like their own debates inside Democratic
Mhm.
Party. But most of people say that Biden will win it. But I just want to say that of course I really want the Democratic Party to win, but I feel like Trump anyway is going to win because we all understand that there are more regular people who don't care about future, who just care about taxes.
You're
And-
saying that the majority of Americans are regular people who don't care about the world and don't care about the taxes?
Yes, yeah, I'm saying
Yeah.
that because like even last elections, who supported Hillary Clinton? Only like biggest cities and wealthiest states like California and New York. So states and cities where people have university degree, where people traveling, where people are thinking about their future, they understand that politics is not only like, you know, gas prices and like taxes. It's something bigger than that. And I feel like we have to understand that Trump seriously really raised American economy, because right now, as I heard, there's like the lowest percentage of people without jobs, unemployment. Yeah,
Decreased unemployment, really?
yeah,
Wow.
and economics really raised. So I think that he's going like to say that in each debate, and all of that people who support him last time, they will think like, okay, yeah, so
Yeah, and
he's
also they killed ISIS leader like 2 weeks
yes,
ago.
yes,
It's
mhm,
important. Like, that was
Exactly.
huge. He will
yeah,
say I don't know how many times again, because he
yeah.
described it in such a vivid detail. That
And
was
to
Yeah,
be
like
honest,
a
I feel
dog. Once
yeah.
again, experimental marketing, like just more attention to him.
But I
That's
think
it.
that it's just his style of speaking. He likes describing the details when he or his country or his soldiers are the heroes who save the
Not
world.
like a really diplomatic way, really. He's
No.
not a public speaker, like, at all.
At all, right.
Yeah.
yeah.
And what do you think will be the consequences if the U.S. finally leaves, if the Trump finally wins? What will be the consequences if the U.S. leaves the Paris Agreement? Do you think that big countries like Germany or Russia will follow the U.S.?
No, I don't
No,
think
no.
so.
Why?
Well, because I think that in Europe, people are more curious about their future. Like, I seriously believe in that. I seriously feel like in Europe, people are more active in political sphere, and in most of the countries, of course, everyone was scared that like there was a wave of elections in Europe, right? Like not so long time ago, and everyone were scared that like all of that, like really radical parties will win, but actually democratic parties won.
Not if we talk about Poland, right?
No,
Yeah, not
about
of course, not Poland at all, but like in Euro Parliament, somehow more democratic parties won this election. So I think that like people are thinking about that, and I feel like if like Germany and France seriously are going to leave all of that agreements, I feel like it's going to be so bad for all of the people who supported this.
Okay, and last question. Why do you think the American public changed so much? That they previously voted for Obama and they appreciated Obama so much, and then they suddenly changed the course and now they vote, and perhaps you say, and the majority of experts say that Trump will win. Why the Americans somehow changed their point of view and started voting for the Republican Party all the time?
because
First
Obama
presidential,
left.
then Congress.
That's it.
Do you think that was
They
about
don't have
persona?
Obama anymore. What?
You think it was about persona, like
Yeah.
the Obama?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I feel like, to be honest, I feel like if Hillary Clinton, for example, because actually she was really, really good competitor to Trump last elections, and I feel like if this time Obama will try to once again take president's seat, I think he's going to win. But
I would watch.
But
Yeah.
to be
Trump
honest,
versus
like
Obama.
Biden, I have never heard about him at all. Like seriously, before like he said that he wants to participate in presidential elections. And to be honest, I don't think that he's going to be as much active, strong, and super radical in his speeches as Trump this time. So that's why I feel like it's not only about party and not about like that political views. I think it's more about persona.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for today. I hope you understand now more about Paris Agreement, when the US leave, and why Trump is probably going to win the 2020 elections. And kisses, and stay tuned.